right, Marfoogle News, hopefully going live in 3, 2. All right, what is going on, guys? It is Adam, aka Marf, and this is Marfoogle News. We've got some concerning events, including a stream that just won't go out, so hopefully you are seeing this live. It may be related to this CME. We're going to talk about it right now. A rare Cannibal CME is set to slam Earth. Now, this is actually multiple coronal mass ejections that are actually going to combine. We've watched this for a very long time. As far as the 8 years that I've been on YouTube, I've watched this and followed it not as closely as some of my friends, like Wages World, one of my mods, who has been watching this for his entire career on YouTube. He's closing in on 62,000 subscribers, and of course, I would highly recommend after this, go check out his coverage of this. But they end up saying that, you know, things like this can not only mess with our critical infrastructure, it can even show us visible auroras. Now, I am one to say that I think it's weird that growing up, I never saw auroras in Washington area or Seattle area ever in my life up until the last couple of years ago. In fact, most of you could probably say the same. Now, we could almost see them with our naked eye a couple years ago, and that was absolutely nuts. Now they say that we might actually see something very similar in certain areas. As many as 3 CMEs are approaching Earth, including today's fast-moving X5 CME from Sunspot 4274. Here is a close-up movie of the X5.1 flare from AR 4274 in space, followed by a stunning post-eruption arcade formation. So I'll just show you this right here. Check this out. This thing it looks absolutely massive. So if I could add a sound effect, it would be like, whoa, boom, boom, bush. I don't know. I'm not very good at sound effects, but you guys get the drift. If this does end up, combining and hitting perfect circumstances, I don't know if this is end game, but I do know that this could very well cause us problems and might be why we are not going live right now or the last 3 tries. So we'll see. All right. And then again, before we move on, I do want to remind you guys, make sure to go check out marfooglenews.com/EMP. This is a perfect time to actually bring this up. This is a device that not only protects against EMP, but it also protects against CME. This is an everyday affiliate, so this isn't because of the story today. This is something that we recommend 24/7 because of the threat to our grid and the threat to our planet from exactly events like what is going on today. Go over to marfooglenews.com/EMP and make sure to use the code MARF. Again, that is, on top of the $50 off you get from us, I've told you guys to wait all month for the sales coming in November, which normally people who are affiliates do not tell you to wait to buy it. I honestly thought that you guys should wait because this sale is phenomenal. And again, it is at 25% off on top of the $50 off discount. So if you've been on the fence about getting one of these, this is going to ground the signal before it fries your device, before the CME or the, EMP from any adversary in less than 500 trillionths of a second. They have them for cars, trucks, motorcycles, boats, generators, and homes. Go to marfooglenews.com/EMP. Code MARF will get you $50 off per device and that 25% off. So make sure to utilize it. All right, let's bring in my co-host/internet brother, Dex James. What is going on and how are you doing today?
Well, hello, Adam, and hello, Foogle fam. I'm doing just fine.
All right, so yeah, we've been having a lot of crazy things going on, and I just want to remind you, later tonight on the next show after we talk about some of the most impending news right here, I do want to remind you there is a crazy thing happening with either FBI. There's a system we normally use. You'll see no ads on our normal show because we use a system called Archive where people are archiving websites. That's all of a sudden down. So is something weird happening? I don't know. Again, we can't use the Wayback Machine for what we do. If you don't know what that is, it's essentially archive put together of every website. If a website changes something, you can go back to a certain day and look at it. Archive is different than that, and it's for some reason getting gone after. So we'll talk about that later. Again, that's why you might see a pop-up ad or something on here that's not intentional. That is because that system is down. Something is going up. Are they covering something up? I don't know. All right, Dex, let's talk about the next piece here, which is a Mad Max infantry that they're talking about.
Well, yeah, certainly. So Putin's Mad Max infantry, as they call it. But you really got to take a look at some of these pictures. Pictures tell it more than the story. But look, there's this fighting going on, obviously, in the Ukraine, but specifically one of the regions that is suspected to maybe lose any hope there with the Ukraine soldiers. And Russia's been taking over. But the haunting footage has emerged as the Russian troops are advancing through thick fog in a convoy of wrecked cars, missing doors and windows, in scenes that look like Mad Max. So the video was shared out. It shows soldiers clinging to battered vehicles and motorbikes as they roll down a debris-strewn road. I mean, literally, these pictures, especially the first one or two, literally look like they're, like what you would see in some sort of, epic movie of end times. Yeah.
Is that
what do you?
That's like
think?
a Ford. I don't know if that's a Ford Taurus or like a what is that? That's like the front end of like a Prius or something. Like, so I honestly, this kind of thing puts chills through your spine. If you were the enemy and you had these guys rolling up on like Mad Max cars, I mean, this could totally be mental, right? If this was America, I would be like, this is badass, right? But it is not. It's Russia, right? So this thing, obviously, we've all had this kind of idea what the apocalypse would be. Geez, these pictures kind of entail that. But one thing I want to point out, I honestly, at this stage and point in life, everything is bad right now with AI. So I just wonder, how many of these kind of stories will we find out later or end up, being fake or something like that. Because this is really, really creepy. And this kind of image could be shared as propaganda over there to scare the Ukrainians or vice versa, right? So yeah, it's quite freaky. Why are they doing that? Well, if they were doing this, I just wonder too, that goes back to the fact that they've used all of the crappy stuff first. They sent in the 100-year-old rifles. They sent in the prisoners taken straight from jail to put on the front line. They recruited, are they just using every piece of junk they have before they touch any of their real soldiers, the real super trained soldiers, because they are saving them for World War III? That sounds, over the top, but look at what's happening in the world. Our carrier now has just arrived near Venezuela. Things are about to kick off. So what the hell is happening? So yeah, very, very, very interesting stuff. And then there's a strange signal. I kind of flip-flop these, but this is very, very interesting to say the least. They say that their astronomers have picked up a radio signal from a mysterious interstellar visitor speeding through our solar system. Using South Africa's Meerkat radio telescope, researchers detected hydroxyl radicals, or OH, and I'm sure some of my people are going to go, I-O, but around the object on October 24th. These molecules leave a distinct radio signature that telescopes like Meerkat pick up, explained Harvard professor Avi Loeb, who has been studying 3I Atlas since the summer. And analysis of the molecules suggests that the surface temperature of the mysterious object is around negative 45 degrees Fahrenheit, and that it measures up to 6 miles in diameter. This absorption signal constitutes the first radio detection of 3I Atlas, Loeb added. The detection comes just days after 3I Atlas passed near the orbital plane of Earth, making it easier to observe. Of course, they say optical images captured November 9th reveal that the object is ejecting enormous jets of material stretching 600,000 miles. Sunward. So I thought this was crazy when I read this earlier too, the length of the tail. So they're saying jets of material stretching 600,000 miles. Mind you, it's going at something like 183,000 miles per hour. And so that kind of makes sense. But that's so crazy because it's only 6 miles wide, the size of Manhattan roughly, and it's stretching 600,000 miles of stuff, debris coming off of it.
Yeah, but that's just sunward. It's got 1.8 million miles
in the
opposite direction.
Wait. How does that work again? What do you mean the opposite direction?
It says its materials are stretching nearly 600,000 miles sunward and almost 1.8 million miles in the opposite direction, roughly the diameter of the sun or the moon in the sky.
See, I guess I don't understand that. But again, at its current distance of about 203 million miles from Earth, these distances represent the first clear measurements of the vast size of 3I Atlas's activity. If I know everybody has doubts about what the heck this thing is, or they have a debate whether it is a UFO or something else. Obviously, we have a Harvard professor that has now come out on the record with multiple of these interstellar objects and says, hey, this is questionably an alien. And of course, I'm sure most of you have something in the back of your head saying like, hey, what if it is, right? What if we are that close to World War III? Because this is the weird thing. We've always had this predictive programming that if we are close to World War III, that aliens are going to come down and save us. And somehow we'll have first contact. The Romulans will come down and say, hey, guys, peace and love and prosperity. And you guys need to stop this war. And, something like that. But it's odd because right now there are so many wars that are spiking up right now. We absolutely know that there are groups that are basically in charge of huge chunks of our world that are saying that the U.S. will not be on top in as little as 5 years. So what the hell's about to happen? We don't know. Is there going to be a blue beam experiment and they come down and have a projection of aliens tell us to chill out? Or will this just fly by and we'll never hear from it again? What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments down below. Follow us on our next show. We're not only going to talk about the FBI shutting down or temporary, I don't know what's going on with the archive. That we'll talk about that more. Dex has more information on that. That's really, really weird. That means that regular people like you and I that archive sites and freeze it in time, that's being shut down, at least in this era. We're going to talk about, of course, many other things going on, especially that warship that just arrived at Venezuela. We're going to talk about that because the largest warship just arrived right outside. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Make sure if you're in the chat, stay there. You will be automatically ported over. If everything works okay, we've been having issues and might be related to the CME. We went live 4 times, I believe, and it did not show up. So I'm so glad you guys made it here. All right, thank you guys. Be safe, be prepared, and Marf out. Welcome to Marfoogle News, the only news I choose. Welcome to Marfoogle News. We know that we